Hey guys. So you're probably wondering, why in the world do I keep talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma? And I get that. But I recently got the chance to live in Tulsa for a little bit. And I fell in love with the city, its history, its culture, and I want to share some of it with you. It's actually the perfect time to do so because Memorial Day just passed. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, Memorial Day has another layer of history because 105 years ago, during Memorial Day weekend of 1921, one of the darkest events in American history unfolds in Tulsa. The Tulsa Race Massacre would destroy what we know today as Black Wall Street. Tulsa's story starts long before 1921. To understand the city, you have to go back to another unfortunate event, the Trail of Tears. In the 1830s, Native tribes were forcibly removed from their homelands in the southeast and they migrated to what would become Oklahoma. Alongside them, Black families came as well. Some were slaves forced with the natives, others were freedmen, all of which would go on to later build businesses, neighborhoods, and communities across Tulsa. That blending of Native and Black history would become the foundation of Tulsa. Then Tulsa strikes oil. In the early 1900s, Tulsa explodes into one of the richest boom towns in America after massive oil deposits are found all across Oklahoma. By 1905, wealth is pouring into the region. Native landowners, Black entrepreneurs, and oil investors are all becoming part of Tulsa's rise. From that opportunity comes Greenwood. The Greenwood district becomes what we know as Black Wall Street, one of the most prosperous Black communities in American history. There's banks, hotels, restaurants, theaters, newspapers, doctors, lawyers, and thriving Black-owned businesses lining the streets. At a time when segregation shut down many, Greenwood was building its own economy and its own legacy. But on May 31st and June 1st, 1921, everything changed. A white mob invaded Greenwood. Homes and businesses were burned to the ground. Hundreds were killed, thousands displaced. And for decades, the story was buried and barely spoken about nationwide. But the legacy of Greenwood never disappeared. Stay tuned for part 2.
Hey, welcome back to part 2. So in part 1, we talked the Trail of Tears, Tulsa's oil boom, the beginning of Black Wall Street, and its devastating end. Most of what I shared in part 1, I knew before I even arrived in Tulsa. While visiting, it felt like the perfect time to explore the history further. So I went to Black Wall Street. I visited the shops and I got to eat good food, some of which you've seen on my Insta. All of these places are the present and the future of Greenwood's legacy, the new generation, if you will. To get a more in-depth look at where the story began, I took a trip to Greenwood Rising. That is the Black Wall Street History Center. You may think this is where we find redemption, but Tulsa's story is a bit more clouded. Greenwood Rising speaks to the story of the oil boom and Black Wall Street, but the response from the city and the media is where things get a little discouraging. After the massacre, media made claims that the Black men of Tulsa instigated the riot. Tulsa's mayor at the time, T.D. Evans, even praised the white mob and made plans to grab the land. All of this while insurance claims were not being paid out to the victims. But the residents of Greenwood would not be moved. Even while living in tents, they sued for their rights to rebuild and won. In 2025, Tulsa's first black mayor, Monroe Nichols, created the Greenwood Trust. The Greenwood Trust is a $105 million initiative aimed to start the road to recovery and reparations for the victims of Greenwood. So the legacy of Greenwood never truly disappeared. Come back for part 3. Hey guys, welcome to part 3. In part 2, I ended with that the legacy of Greenwood never actually disappeared. And that's because instead the people told their stories and rebuilt with what they had. And when those that acknowledged the truths of Tulsa finally sat in positions of power, they returned what was almost stolen. This leads me to another part of Tulsa and Tulsa's history, and that's Route 66. And Tulsa just happens to be one of the most iconic stops on this American highway. They call it the Mother Road, and it runs directly through Tulsa. It brings diners, music, car culture, and travelers from everywhere. On May 30th, Tulsa will be hosting the Centennial Capitol Cruise. It is a celebration of classic cars, Route 66 culture, and the deep history of Tulsa. Because Tulsa is more than just one moment in time. It's Native history, it's Black history, it's oil boom history, and it's even Route 66 history. Every street in Tulsa is American history. Welcome to Tulsa.